Disney is so creatively bankrupt that they've now resorted to making spin-offs nobody asked for from reboots nobody asked for. They're fully in their reduce, reuse, recycle phase now. Reduce creativity, reuse old IPs, and recycle ideas from said old IPs and change them up for modern audiences. It must be so fulfilling working there at the moment. And the result of all this nonsense? Mufasa, the Lion King. The original 2D animated movie is a masterpiece from Disney's golden era of animation. It's an incredible story with anthropomorphic animals talking, singing, and dancing. It's captivated audiences and become a classic, and rightly so. In 2019, Disney decided to remake the movie as a live-action, fully photorealistic version. The animals weren't anthropomorphic anymore, with all bodily and facial movements being fully realistic now. With it went all semblance of the whimsy and fun of the original. Big song and dance numbers now felt flat, weird and uncomfortable, and general dialogue unnatural throughout. At that point, the Disney remake concept was still a novel idea and the movie looked great. It really did look photorealistic, and showing off the African savannah genuinely was beautiful. Because of that, and the nostalgia factor from the beloved original classic, meant that it made a shit ton of money, just shy of $1.7 billion at the box office, and currently sitting at number 10 of highest grossing movies of all time. This remake was never supposed to have a sequel. But Disney, being Disney, has been on a warpath lately to try and rewrite the history of old Disney villains, showing us that they aren't really that bad, that it was unfortunate circumstances or some other bullshit reason that made them go evil. It wasn't ever really their fault. It started with Maleficent, then Cruella, then Ursula, and now Elphaba, and here we are with Scar. This movie is going to be as much an origin story for how Mufasa came to be king as it is how Scar came to be the bad guy in the original movies. I will put money on the fact that they will spin it as poor Scar being caught up in bad circumstances. He isn't really evil, it was just out of his control or some bullshit like that. They're gonna play the victim card with him. Watch. They even go with the pride of white lions being the bad lions, trying to overthrow their pride. That's a bit on the nose, isn't it? How dastardly of you, Disney. It also feels like they are setting up Mufasa to betray Taka to eventually become Scar. It's ultimately going to be Mufasa's fault for Taka's descent to becoming Scar. The prequel idea very seldomly works, because you already know where it will end. It takes a lot of what makes a story compelling and throws it by the wayside. The mystery of where the story is going and how it will end is gone. Same with this movie. Never, after watching either of the two Lion King movies, did the question of how did Mufasa become king cross my mind. I didn't need to know that. Did it cross your mind? Do you want to know Timon and Pumbaa's origin stories now? Should they do a movie for Zazu's origin story? Or Rafiki next? Disney is so scared of making anything new at the moment that they're trying to wring every last possible drop they can out of current existing IPs. They seem to forget that at some point, every one of those classics were new IPs too.
It's time. I'll tell you a story.
So just to be clear, you're gonna subscribe to my channel, right? There's a lot of stories that's still to be told, you'll see.
The trailers show us some gorgeous landscapes and just how beautiful the African savannah can be. The worst parts of the trailers though? The voice acting. They're all different from the originals, and it's not even close. Look, you were never going to replace James Earl Jones's voice, but you could at least have gone with someone with a big, deep voice like his. Instead, we get some high-pitched voice, and for Scar, or rather Taka, before he became Scar, we now have a proper English gentleman. I mean, what the actual fuck? I get voices change slightly as people get older, but the jumps from these high-pitched proper English voices to what they are supposed to go to is just wrong. Even the other voices are different now. That's definitely the weakest part of these trailers and quite a letdown for such a high-profile movie. With Scar, we went from this...
Life's not fair, is it?
He admits it. Murderer. If it weren't for you, Mufasa would still be alive. It's your fault he's dead. Then you're guilty.
To this...
Life's not fair. I'd hate to be responsible for the death of a family member, of knowing I took the life of someone I love. Murderer! If it weren't for you, the king would be alive.
And now this...
My name is Taka.
This was a bad idea! We're alive!
Really?
Am I upset? No, I am not. A little.
And with Mufasa, From the mighty James Earl Jones's voice,
If you ever come near my son again, if you ever come near my son again,
to this,
My name is Mufasa. You're saying?
come on.
Boo!
Horrible. Horrible.
The story also feels like it might have some retread of the original. It looks like Mufasa is taken in by Taka's family, they get overthrown by the White Lions, and after that they need to flee, only to return later to reclaim their territory. Taka's parents will surely have to die in order for Mufasa to be able to become king. Sounds familiar, right? If retreading old storylines is your thing, then Disney's got your back. We even see some shots of the herd of buffalo running through the valley, same as when Mufasa died. Some weird sort of foretelling maybe? I don't really care. The 2019 film's budget was north of $260 million, so this one will likely be close to that as well. That means it will need to make some serious money to make it worth Disney's while. And the only thing they have going for this movie is the nostalgia factor from a different movie. Disney also doesn't have the squeaky clean reputation it used to have, having been way too entrenched in identity politics for too long now. They just don't have the sort of goodwill they had before. So just slapping Disney on the poster won't make it an automatic financial success like it used to. I'm calling it around $500 to $600 million gross for this movie before it runs out of steam. That's not nothing, but with such a huge budget, it won't be nearly enough for Disney to properly recoup all its money or call this a success. Hopefully that will start to dissuade them from this live-action reboot craze, but I highly doubt it. I mean, we just saw the Lilo and Stitch reveal last week, so it's gonna be a while still. Anywho, that's me signing off.